Joining us now is Josh Wolfe from Lux Capital. Josh, it's always great to have you on. I want to glean your insights on this one. I realize there's a lot of ifs, and this is very much a developing story, and there are a lot of moving parts. If this were to make its way across the finish line, pass through the Senate, get voted into law here, how could this actually play out? Would ByteDance ever be willing to sell TikTok, or would a ban be the more likely scenario? And why is this so necessary from a national security standpoint?
So I think it's a no-brainer, first of all, and whether it's Mnuchin or others that put this together to buy it and put it into American hands, it is a great asset. It's got a terrible liability. And that liability is that every piece of data goes to the Chinese Communist Party as part of their laws. And the influence that they have on the American public is just absolutely insidious. Imagine if we gave Nazi Germany in the 1930s a TV station alongside ABC, CBS, or NBC, or imagine that we gave USSR, when we were fighting communist Russia in the 80s, its own TV station. Every single American has a phone, and it is piped in with content and propaganda, whether it's Daryl Morey when he stood with Hong Kong and they shut down all Houston Rockets stuff on TikTok, or whether it's things like the Hong Kong protests that you'll see hundreds of thousands of posts on Instagram and other social media and virtually nothing on China. So if we care about our democracy, the public town square, sanctity of our elections, you want this in American hands because we know that they are tipping the scales, amplifying things that are pro-China, suppressing things that are not in their interests. In India, it's highlighting conflict with Kashmir. Here, it's highlighting anything that will create American divisiveness, and it's just corrupting our democracy. So that's why it's key for national security.
Yeah, not to mention the treasure trove of data, which we know is a powerful commodity in this day and age of ever-growing AI capabilities on the world stage. I mean, the counter-arguments to this are going to be First Amendment concerns. Expectation is you could see court challenges if this does become law. Other social media companies, it's very interesting. They've been sort of sitting this one out in terms of lobbying and taking a stance. Meta is a good example. It hasn't taken a stance to oppose or to support this bill. I was speaking to a source close to Meta who said that the company recognizes the national security concerns raised by Congress about TikTok, but is also concerned about the precedent that this would set. If the U.S. government can target one company, this could set up a precedent where Meta, for example, could be targeted by other countries around the world under the same framing. How real is that risk for
First of all,
U.S. companies?
It's a great point. That risk already exists. If China just followed simple reciprocity rules, the fact that Facebook and Twitter and all of our social media apps are not even allowed in their country, let alone their version of TikTok, which only shows their children science and technology videos and limits it to 40 minutes a day, whereas they're piping in just horrific, depressing, horrible, divisive stuff here. As it relates to the First Amendment, it's a key point. And I think that Mike Gallagher and Congress did such a thoughtful job, which is why it passed with 352 votes in the House. And now I think that Chuck Schumer on the Senate, Rubio, Warner, all have tremendous opportunity to set leadership here in a bipartisan, non-divisive way to recognize that this is a national security threat. It doesn't touch the First Amendment. In fact, I banned TikTok in my household, and I've got 3 kids. You put this in American hands, I'll put them on it tomorrow. So this is not about freedom of expression. This is about a foreign adversary with ill intent hyping content directly into influence our citizenry and doing something about it. And for the first time, I've got to say, I am super proud of our electorate to actually take this on and do something historic.